O Horus of gold, our hold on Asia is strong and unchallenged, and our borders again stretch far into Nubia. But the trouble on our northern coast is escalating. The sea people have become increasingly aggressive, wantonly raiding our cities. Only Pharaoh's presence will be enough to defeat this fierce and wily adversary. If you commission a navy, supported by a strong army, surely we shall overcome the sea people. While you work to defeat the sea people, your brave nomarchs are leading attacks throughout the world. If they are successful, Egypt will rule the world from the great Euphrates River in Asia to the sprawling Kushite city of Kerma to the south. When you and your nomarchs have met with sweet victory, your dynasty will be recorded as the greatest dynasty ever to keep watch over Egypt. Marking your far-reaching influence is a new, distant trade partner, Mycenae. The king of Mycenae has learned of the splendor and bounty of Egypt and wishes to engage in trade with us. If you agree to open this trade route, O Pharaoh, your citizens will surely be provided with exotic goods unlike any they have ever seen. To house your royal family for the afterlife, an awe-inspiring mausoleum and an impressive pair of brick pyramids must be built. These monuments will remind all who follow of your deeds, both on and off the battlefield.
Hey guys, welcome back to Lads of Pharaohs. I'm Sajuuk and we are heading into the final military mission, Rowarty, the Sea People. Population 7,000, kingdom rating 80, prosperity 50, culture 65 and some monuments. So it looks as if we're going to have to attack the Sea People in this map. I do know that they're all naval attacks, there's no land attacks from the Sea People. And given this little bit here, we're probably going to get a lot of troop requests to distant cities. And something about Mycenae, maybe we'll have a trade partner there from the start, we'll have a look at that. And yeah, we've got to build a mausoleum and a couple of pyramids. So continuing on hard mode, let's head to the city. Slow time right down and pause and have a look at this huge, enormous map in the Delta. Lots of floodplains, so food and all that's not going to be an issue. Lots of trees, so we can at least cut that. Well, we've got wood, clay and reeds, that's useful. So we've basically got pottery, papyrus. We'll have a look at food types a bit. There's so much space on this map. Unfortunately, the one thing to note is that basically anything past this point here, this halfway point, is not buildable for housing. There's just no space after that point. So we're going to keep everything in the lower half of the map. Here's the Mediterranean up here. Don't bother building up here. I know it looks sort of tempting to build like a little bit of an industry up here where the straight line coast is. This is actually deceiving. All the trade happens down here. One thing to note is that there is a bug on this map. Well, it's not a bug. In Pharaoh prior to Cleopatra, so like 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, there was a bug where ships would use exit points, so they would only ever use the entry point to enter and exit. That bug was fixed in Cleopatra, but the map designer for this didn't go and fix that bug. So what happens is that because there's no exit point on this map, the ships will come in here, go to the dock, once they've done their thing, they'll just disappear, and I'll show you that. So there's quite a bit of straight line coast around here. We could probably set up warships down here, and a bit of food supply and all that as well. Good amount of papyrus though, to sell, but we'll have a look at that in a minute. What's our farms? Grain, lettuce, barley, flax. So actually we have pottery, papyrus, beer and linen. So apart from luxury goods, we can get fancy residences very easily here because we have 2 food types and all the other resources to get them. So that's going to be quite useful. Not going to go for manners on this one, there's no point. The mission drags on quite a long time and I don't want to do that. And really there's no space for them anyway. Osiris, Ptah, Cephs are gods and Cephs the patron. Kind of unhelpful in a delta region where I would expect Osiris to be the patron, but never mind. Entrance point is here, so we are going to have to put a bridge down. Well, not a bridge, but we are going to have to set up a ferry landing somewhere and just cross the Nile straight away onto the Sinta Island where we're going to have pretty much everything. Are the prices normalised? No, apparently everything's at their, well, wood's higher than normal, but copper's back at its usual price, but that's okay. Let's have a look at trade. So we are here at Rowarty. Just to note, if you didn't catch on from Byblos, Byblos precedes this mission, so if you choose Byblos, you immediately come into Rowarty. If you are interested in Baki and Hatepsa Nusret, then click the card on the screen to go to Baki, and that will walk you through the peaceful aspect. So here we've got Byblos. They sell us ivory, which is useless. They sell us wood, which we don't need because we have all the wood we need. Because we've got wood, we're not going to build infantry, we're just going to build charioteers, and they buy things we don't make, so... Well, we can't make gems, we can only make jewelry by import, which is a waste. We've got here Idjatoy, which buys a little bit of beer, but they also sells a lot of limestone, which we're going to need for the monument. We've got Abu Dhai here, which sells grain, straw, flax and linen. All of that's useless, we can make all that stuff. They can also sell some gems and some sandstone, and given we don't have Ra, this is going to take a long time to import sandstone. As far as I know, that's 10 years of imports, 20 years of imports to build the mausoleum, 10 for importing the amount, and then another 10 to build it, which is a long time. They do buy pottery papyrus, and that's it. We do not have very many exports, and it looks as if my city is not a trade partner. I thought the briefing said they were. Never mind. So we only have beer and pottery papyrus. Now I'm not going to go into beer simply because it takes too long to set that up. There's no real reason to set up a barley. I mean, you can, but I think I'll just focus my efforts on pottery and papyrus to Abu. That'll make us more money. I know that beer is worth more than pottery, but there's too much setup. It needs a flood, and floods are pretty bad on this one, even though this is the Delta. They start off okay, and then they get progressively pretty crap. To the point where most of this is not covered, which we don't want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and set up a housing block, our export industry of pottery and papyrus. We're going to do that up here where there's a nice amount of space. And given this is a military mission, we're going to go straight into building some sort of military when we get the funds. So I'll come back in later once we set up our initial housing. Okay, so here's our initial housing block. We're going to have one right here, and we're going to have probably 3 of these on this centre island, probably with a monument somewhere else. Now, there is a lot of trees on this map. One thing you might have picked up on before that fade is that no one's actually buying wood. We can import it, but we don't have a way of selling it. And in fact, no trade partner on this map that opens up over, there's like 3 additionals, no trade partner will buy wood, so pretty much wood is not an export. So we only need a small amount just to support monument building and shipwright, the ship construction and chariots. Other than that, we don't need wood, so we're not going to go for a huge wood industry, there's no point. So up here I've set up the first housing, and over here we're going to have a couple of reed gatherers, maybe 1, just 2 or so, and then we're going to set up as many papyrus makers as we can in this space right here. There's more of a space. I mean, our trade limit is basically 1 coin, which is 1500. So basically, if we don't export pottery, if we just toggle the options, we'll be able to sell 2200 papyrus and then eventually 2200 pottery. So really the trade quotas are not too numerous on this one, so we don't need a huge industry right this very minute. We just need to set up an area to put down. We'll put the storage yard right there, and then we can have everything elsewhere. What I'm going to do is this space right here is a good place for setting up the clay pit industry, so we can have a few clay pits and all that over here, and this bit here we can just use getting yards to bring it down here. Charioteer forts are going to go in the spaces where I can build them, so like there, there, all over this map basically, just in all the spaces that are possible to build these things. We are going to need a lot of charioteer makers, not charioteer makers, but chariot forts rather. And we're going to just put them on this centre island. And I think we can go fine with that. Now I have put down apothecaries because of course there is a malaria risk here. So hopefully nothing burns down in this block, because I know that's likely to happen when we've only got 1 of these. But it should be fine. So I'll just keep on going and I'll come back in once we started to make our first papyrus for the city. Okay, so we're starting to produce our first papyrus. We got 200 very quickly actually. We have a lot of unemployment, but that's starting to come back down now that we're starting to put down more of these papyrus. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 papyrus makers. Now obviously at this early stage, that's enough. But as we start to think about evolving our housing and getting these up, we're going to need a shit ton more than this. So we are probably going to have to expand this somewhere else. Probably down here where near the reason. I want to try to keep everything nice and central. Now the plan that I've got, I'll just slow down. My plan is I'm going to have pottery up here, papyrus over here. Now normally how I build this city is I put 3 housing blocks on this centre island and then another one over on this left hand island. And then just sort of dump the monuments over here. I'm thinking about doing it a little bit different. I'm going to put all 4 housing blocks on this centre island if I can, if there's space. Looking at it right now, I don't think there is, but we'll think about that as it comes along. And then I'll put the monuments, say, over here, and then all the industry over here. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do it. I'm going to think about it and see how it goes, but if there's not enough space on this centre island for 4 blocks, I'll just do my usual 3 here. 1 over here for another bit of papyrus, because there's more than enough reeds here. We can just have... excuse me. We can have the monuments sort of anywhere we want. Now we are farming some grain, just for stockpile at the moment. We're not going to use it in the city right this very minute. And then we're going to start to work on exporting papyrus. What's our labour shortage like? It's actually fine. Just fine. Housing is moving in and keeping it in check. So at the next harvest, what we're going to do is feed the people, because we will have the food to do it. And yes, I'll just come back in when we're ready to start feeding our people. Okay, so we're starting to run out of money, but we've got plenty of papyrus ready to be sold, so let's just put down a dock right there. Now, I know the whole city is connected, but that's not a problem here. So we'll get this staffed. I'm also putting down like other industries like woodcutters and things like that, just to start working on other industries, because we do need to start working on our military. It's the end of the first year, we don't have any way of defending ourselves, so that's not too good. Yes, employees need it, I don't really care. So we've got that running. Let's just go ahead and open up this very expensive trade route to Abu. And just sell all papyrus. That's all we have to sell, and that's what you're going to buy from us. So it's going to set us close to debt, but we do get rescue funds, which is a good thing. And so the trade boat comes from the south here. And we will just watch them bug out, basically. So of course there's lots of floodplain and holes here to get through, which is not too good. One thing to note is that this mission can get really buggy with the invasions, and I will make sure to save before those happen, because the bugs are really annoying. I can tell you that right now. So we are farming grain. I'm going to stockpile that. I'm going to put the grain storage over here rather than where it is, because this is a good place for a housing block in my opinion. So here we go. Abu's coming in to buy stuff from us. The docks are way up here. We've got enough to support the 2 sails straight away, actually. So we'll just come up here. So you're going to watch. He's going to come up to here. They're going to go and buy 1100 papyrus, which is instant money. And as soon as they come back, watch what happens. Vanishes. It instant vanishes because there's no exit point on this map. It does actually speed up trade. I mean, look at that. There's another ship straight here to buy up the quota straight away. So we are selling out the quota pretty much in a couple of months. We don't have any other things to sell other than pottery, which we are going to set up over here. So that's our export setup. We can now use this money to start building up our navy, because that's what we need, as well as our military. But we might have to go into a lot of debt. We do have some rescue fund. We've got some savings rather, and we do have rescue funds as well. I may use these because there's no missions after this, so it's not a problem. Pardon me. So yeah, I'll just keep on going. I'll come back in if we get called of any invasions. Okay, so we set up another housing block. We just need workers at this point, but unfortunately we are going to go into debt. So let's just go ahead and put down this. We are going to get the harvest as well, which doesn't help. That's us in debt. That's okay. Let's just put this down. 1, 2, there. So we're going to have 3 housing blocks here. Yeah, there's not enough space to put 4, so I am just going to have to go with my normal plan. We've got rescue funds of 5,000. That's a lot. So we've got 15,000 to build the city. Not too bad. Let's just put this grain accepting thing here. And you should get access to employees fairly quickly. I say very quickly. haven't passed any houses yet. Apparently you are passing houses but not getting employment. Let's just set you to that. Let's just set you to priority number 1. Go on, off the floodplain, guys. There we go. So I have a stockpile of food for the next harvest. I'm also going to just toggle the priorities again, put that back. So we are making enough papyrus for the next year. So once all this papyrus is made here and stockpiled, I will turn off the papyrus industry because we just need workers at this point. Now since we've got some rescue funds, oh, they've all just stopped there because of the lack of workers. What we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and put down 2 warships like that. In fact, we can just put down, we can put 6 of them along this bottom coastline here. So we'll get 2 warships. I know that's going to really play havoc with our workforce, but we are getting more people into the city, and once we turn off the papyrus, we should be fine. So just going to continue to spend money at this point. 2,000 to 2,100. So there we go. There's enough papyrus for the next trading year, which is going to be fine. And yeah. So the traders are just coming up here and disappearing, which is okay. So we're getting people moving in. I know that there's a bit of housing evolution here, which is not an issue right now. We are short on a lot of workers. If we end up needing more money, I will give myself some money just to get ourselves going, because we need to do a lot very quickly. Now that our pottery is running, in fact, let's just, for now, we're not going to be able to sell any clay or pottery for the next year, so let's just turn off those 2 industries. That will give us a bunch of workers, which we want. Once all this papyrus is made, then we will no longer need the papyrus industry for a little while. So we've got grain stockpiling, that's going to be good. We've got our second housing block down, so we'll probably have most of the beer and all that industry just sort of around these areas here, just attached to these bits. Not sure where I'm going to put the mausoleum though, because it is big. And I would like to build it somewhere that it looks nice in the middle of the city, but we'll have to see. I'm not concerned about cutting down a whole load of forests, simply because there's so many trees that, pardon me, there's so many trees that we have enough of it that if we cut down a large portion here, there's still trees on the map. It's not like we're exporting it, so it's fine. So here's the end of the second year. Are you going to get up there by the time that the year resets? Because if you do, that's even better, because then you'll buy something. Last bits of papyrus are coming through, and then we will turn off that papyrus industry. We're getting our shipwright, getting building stuff. I don't think you're going to reach there before the trade year resets. Nope, just a bit too late. Never mind. So that's all papyrus made. Let's just turn off that papyrus industry for now. We're actually getting unemployment, which we want. But let's turn on pottery and clay production for now. Let's see what effect that has. It's giving us a lot of unemployment, which is good. That's what we want to see. So we're just going to put out yet another. So there you can see that the flood didn't happen this year, which wasn't too good. Let's just put down. Let's just see if we get attacked. Nope, we're going to do fine. So let's put down that. Now we're also going to have to put down a chariot maker. Let's just clear some trees. Chariot maker. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put down. Where is it? Yeah, we're just going to put this here. And roadblock here. We'll just do a bit of along this section here. We'll just set up our military. So we're losing money. We're about to go into another debt, but Abu's going to save us by buying that papyrus. And once we've got a lot of pottery being made, we will start to export that as well. So yeah, let's just keep on going. Let's check for any attacks. Nope, we'll just continue to build up our navy, and I'll come back in once we get the notification that the sea people are about to attack us. Okay, here we go folks. Because of their dreams of empire, an army of the sea people is approaching and will reach your city in 5 months. Now we do have 6 warships, which is even better. I've got them all positioned. I do know where these attacks come from. They all come from the north. But we're going to have to do the sea people. If you thought the Hittites were hard enough, and the sea people are just a bit insane, we cannot directly engage them. If we do, we're just going to be screwed. So we have to basically use that tactic I was using in Byblos, the previous mission, where we just sort of kite them around with micromanagement of hold position, because it's the best position really. If we use anything else, they're just really inefficient. So we are stockpiling wood here because we're not making chariots. We just don't have enough money to do anything else. We are selling little bits of pottery, which is good. I've also expanded our pottery industry just a little bit. put in an extra clay pit here and there. So we sold some there. I'm not sure how much that was. Only a small amount, it's not very useful. Let's actually just turn off pottery now that we've sold all of that. We can stop exporting, turn that off, and we'll just reverse this a little bit. Stop exporting for a bit. So we'll go back onto papyrus production for a little bit. We do have unemployment, which is fine. But we don't have any more money, so I may give myself some funds and try to boost the city a bit more. Given that the exports are so poor on this one, I'm just going to do that. Let's send ourselves 3,000. In fact, let's just speed this right up. Let's give ourselves 3,000. It'll give us some money at least to build up our military. We can do this, but I can justify this in the sense I've not done it in any previous mission, and apart from Icon, or whatever mission it was, I don't remember. I could justify it by that, and it's the final mission, so it's not like these funds are going anywhere. So let's just give ourselves 3,000. Now that will allow us to go ahead and put down the academy. Let's just delete some of these trees just along here. Actually, we're going to have to put those houses back in case they spawn on the wrong side. So let's just put them there. So we'll put an academy there. Now, hopefully you don't spawn on that side. If you do, that will be a real shame. But what we can do is just to temporarily get around this. I'm going to put a roadblock there, and then you can wander down this line instead. And these guys will be covered by a separate set of people. So let's just put that down. And that there, and then we can just sort of delete that. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this going, and I'm going to come back in when we're about to be attacked by the sea people. Well, here we go. The attack's going to be here in 1 month bent on conquest. I have used those emergency funds I gave to myself to good use to put down this academy and a charioteer company, which is going to be very useful because we are going to need to send troops somewhere while we're being attacked, which is not very useful, but we do. Apparently this recruiter, despite being undesirable, is not affected the desirability of these buildings, which is interesting. That sturdy hut is affected, okay, fine. So we have 6 warships, this is about as best as we can do. And we're starting to trade some land forces. It's taken us a while, but that's okay. Next trade port that comes around, we'll be able to sell off some papyrus and make some more serious profit. We are going to need to try and get into taxes quite early. We don't have much export potential on this map, sadly. And yeah, so we've got farms, which is good. We're going to farm all this. And while we're being attacked, we're going to be attacked by another Sea People army in 6 months. So let's find out where they come from and deal with them. Okay, so we got through most of that battle, but again, another attack is going to come in 1 month bent on conquest. It's basically taking all that time to get through that battle. We are now in massive debt because we are not making any money. And that's just because we're not exporting anything apparently. So let's just set this to export to maintain 0. We've only got one more down here. Now hopefully he doesn't do too much damage to these guys. So let's just send these guys down. This map really teaches you how to be useful on the ship micro. I can tell you that right now. Ship micro is so important on this one. Let's just send you over this way, just in case they come a different direction. Let's just send you here. So we've got one ship coming up here. Hopefully our ones can deal with it. And come on, attack. And yeah, so there he's now stuck, which means he's probably going to die. Here comes another attack. Let's have a look at it. It's actually a very small attack, but we are going to have to... Oh dear, this is not going well. But let me just speed through this battle. Okay, so while this battle's going on, we're being told to send troops somewhere. Your city has been attacked by an army of the sea people, and now the Egyptian army is engaged in combat in the distant city of Kadesh, again, and requires you to dispatch reinforcements there. Send troops to their aid in 10 months. Let's have a look. A small force in 9 months. We should actually be able to do that with one charioteer company, so I'll let this fill up, and then we'll be able to do it. But this battle was won pretty quickly. We took out the transports. Now we just got to avoid being attacked by the sea people's own warships, because if we do that, they're just going to kill us. Well, there's one down. Let's just send them all back and deal with the last one as quickly as we can. Just speeding this up a little bit because we are through the majority of this. Let's just send these back. And there we go. So the attack worked. And we can actually get more charioteers being made, but we're not going to do that right now. So yeah, I'm going to go and repair my ships because they need to be repaired. And I'll come back in once we set off the troops to fight off at Kadesh. Oh, would you look at that? Our troops are succeeded at Kadesh, and we've conquered Kadesh again, which is silly. So we set off one full fort. Where is that one? Most of them died actually, which is not too good. Now I have set up another charioteer maker. It's a bit far, but I don't care. They can at least keep this going every so often. Over here I'm setting up another little area because we need to get more papyrus. We're running out of reeds. You can see here most of this has been cut, most of that's been cut. So we're actually tapping this resource. So I'm going to set up a crossing point here because there's a lot of floodplain here on this sort of central island of floodplain, and we could probably put as many farms as we want alongside some farms here. So here, this little bit, and all of this will be more than enough to support the city. So we just need to put down the various buildings like so. Let's just do 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And then we can sort of have zigzags across to things like this and all that kind of stuff. I think, can we get a fort in there? We can, but that might cause problems getting down here. Unfortunately, getting onto this floodplain is really difficult because there's only like 1 or 2 entrances onto it, which is not really useful. I might connect up over to this little landmass to give them a shortcut down here, but I'm not too sure. We are feeding more housing, which is obviously giving us more unemployment, which we don't really want right now, but that's okay. It's just because city health was tanking a bit, so I started to feed people. We're not going to try and evolve them too high at this point. Start to build up our military, which I think we'll be doing quite well on. I might move the recruiter up here and put down a chariot maker up there and get rid of this one. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do it. But we have 6 warships. We're going to have a nice full landmass on here. We just need to boost exports, I think, and maybe let's just check. You seem to be suffering from poor access. Let's just put in a couple of houses down there. They will get access to that stuff, and that'll just keep them stable and all that. If we need more clay pit production, we have more space on this little landmass here, where we are going to have another fort. We're going to have a fort there, forts along this bit. I'm not too sure where I'm going to put them. I'm just sort of going to scatter them in various places where I can put them. So yeah, we got through the brunt of the attacks, we saved Kadesh, and now we're just going to have to rebuild our forces. Well, what's this? Because the foreign city of Kadesh has been subjugated by our troops, the city of Kadesh requests that I send 983 demons in 2 months. Well, we have that, but 2 months doesn't give us a lot of time. In fact, we only just barely have that, which is not too useful, so it's going to plunge us into a bit more debt. Once Abu's bought up another 1100 papyrus, and we'll just sell off this pottery for a little while. So that'll be another 2 sales. You can see here that the reed gatherers are now going over here to get some additional reeds because they are tapping out this, which is what we want. We want just continual reed production. It is slowing down a bit, but we can't sell enough papyrus to keep it up anyway. So we'll send off that money. Hopefully that will open up Kadesh as a new trade route. And we'll just keep on building our forts. Now I was thinking about having a little shortcut through here, but it's going to take out 1 fort. Now I might just negate one of the forts and put it somewhere else. I'm not sure. I'll just put maybe 1 fort there, the shortcut down this way or something. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do it, but we will have a few extra forts. We are going to need them, but we are going to have to build up our forces first. So, how's our unemployment? 11%. It's still quite high, but that's not too problematic here. We can just put down another work camp, I think. Yeah. Well, we've got 4, so we can just expand our production capabilities. You can see here, I was starting to plan out the area for our barley and beer and all that. So I'll probably go and set up the barley industry, and I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Oh, that's good. Because you helped Kadesh celebrate its great festival to Bast by sending the money, we can now trade with Kadesh. Let's see what they've got. Pretty much the same imports as Byblos, which we don't need. Actually, I might need to import a bit of copper. Later on, there's a really out-of-the-blue request for copper, but we can sell... actually, no, it's weapons, sorry. We can sell linen and papyrus, so that's a good export. We can just open that up. There is a land trade route, which is annoying, because it means I'm going to have a little connection here, but that's okay. Let's just put a road here. Let's do some houses. We are needing people anyway. Money's still tight, which is not very useful, but that's okay. Because, well, it is. There's no real way of increasing it. I think Kadesh might try to come through and fail, but there we go. There's Kadesh who's going to come in and start buying up more papyrus, which means I really need to sort of consider expanding this. Oh, here's a trade boat that's going to come through. They can now buy up pottery. All of it, and that'll give us some more money to play with. We're also going to head and put down a couple of statues just to try and get the houses evolved. So at this point we just need to get out of debt more clearly and sell papyrus and all that, so we can do that. And I'll think about setting up our linen industry now, I think, because we've got a linen export, we might as well make use of it. Well, that's not too good. We're still going to get attacked. An army of the sea people will reach your city in 6 months, which is not too good. We are building up more forces. We've just sold off another 1500 papyrus to Kadesh, so more money. Abu's going to come up and buy another 1100 pottery, which is going to be good for our profits. How much reeds did they tap? They're tapping quite a bit of reeds over here, which is quite useful. We're going to have 3 full charioteer companies, which is going to be good. We're going to sell for another 1,000 worth of pottery, I think. Yep, there we go. So that's more money. Flood was bad this year, but that's not a problem right now. We do need to get rid of this unemployment. Now, I could just work on the monument, really, because that would be a great way of doing it. Now, I'm thinking about having my beer and linen down a straight line right here, with probably a bit of feeder housing on one end. Mausoleum here, and then another little housing block in here. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do it. I'll probably just do a very small housing block, and then I might even do 2 housing blocks over here and just put monuments here. I think that might work out quite nicely, because we can build a medium mud brick pyramid here, and it'll look quite nice in the city, I think, having 2 monuments right next to each other. Maybe even put the 3rd one over here. I'm not too sure I'm going to do it yet, but we'll think about that later. We've also put down a couple of extra clay pits, because some of these ones on the end were a little low most of the time, but that's okay. Making enough papyrus, we need to just sell out 3,000, which we are making, which is not too bad. These are starting to stockpile a bit more, but that's not a problem right now. In fact, let's just turn off pottery exports, because we don't need that right now. We just need papyrus. So I'll come in when we're about to be attacked by the sea people once again. Okay, so here we go. We're going to be attacked by another army of the sea people in 1 month bent on conquest. Now, I don't know where this one attaches, so I've put down a couple of warships on this side, just in case they come down this way. And I've also put a few down here, just in case they come up from the right-hand side. So, I want to get the warships away from the transport so that these guys can just sink the transports as quickly as possible. I'm about to sell off the entire papyrus supply to Kadesh, just in a minute. Let's see, has Abu bought anything? No. One of them drowned in the flood, which was stupid of them, but never mind. Let's just put down, just while we wait, 1, 2, 3, 4 flax fields just here, and they will be irrigated, and I'll have a road going through here to a few more of them. So I'll have mostly barley and flax in this bit, and then the remaining space will just be grain all over the place. And over here we'll have a few grain farms, but mostly lettuce. So we're going to feed everyone grain and lettuce. We're just going to have fancy residences throughout the city. We might as well. I mean, we don't actually have to import a single resource. The only thing we actually have to import is limestone, sandstone, and if we want manors, gems and luxury goods. But other than that, we have pretty much every resource in this map, so there's no reason to not build fancy residences. If I can get the words out. Might also have another little housing block over here. If we're going to put 2 monuments on this bit here, we could easily set up a little housing block here. But for now, we just need to focus on the military. We're going to sell off the papyrus as well. Alright, here's the foreign army. Let's see where they come from and deal with them. Okay, so the battle's going on okay. We managed to defeat them quite easily. Kadesh is asking for 1,000 baskets of grain, which we've got. We'll just send that over. Now, during that battle, unfortunately, I stopped paying attention to Seth and didn't realise that my population expanded without enough shrines. So he ended up destroying one of my forts, which was not very useful. Let's just rebuild that and spend all that time recovering those troops. So I went ahead and just spammed some shrines down here. I will sort this out a bit more, but that's not a problem right now. I'm going to wait for the flood to come up before sending these guys off to get repaired. A few of them did take some damage, but it wasn't too difficult. So yeah, there we go through that invasion, not too worrisome, and I'll come back in if any more battles or anything else that happens of interest. Okay, another sea people attack in 6 months. Now, hopefully it's just another sea attack. I'm pretty sure it will be because they are the sea people. So, hopefully it's not too big of an attack. If it's a big attack, we will be a little underprepared because we are repairing our ships, but that's okay. Abu's bought another 1100 papyrus. Kadesh will about buy up the quota here. Well, one of them will, and the other will be somewhere in the city. I don't really care. At this point, I'm just sort of trying to keep unemployment under control. We are actually getting it under control because I just put down a bunch more papyrus makers. Because we're going to start working on ticking up culture. So let's just put down a school in these 2 locations. It really doesn't matter if these guys are able to wander quite a distance. If it becomes a problem, I'll just knock out one of these and replace this with a getting yard for papyrus, just to bring it a little bit closer, just to make sure they're not wandering too far. We'll just put down that there, so that would be the replacement. So yeah, we're recovering our forces quite nicely. We've got enough chariots being made that it's no longer a concern. This dude is at the right distance for him to just get there and back in a consistent manner. So I'll go and set up my warships where they need to be, and I'll come back in when we're about to be attacked. Okay, so that attack's going to be here in 1 month bent on conquest. And just to give you a bit of an update on the city, I have gone ahead and drawn out the area where I want all my farms. We're going to have mostly industrial farms down here. I know they ended up going on to, but that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a little extreme, and we'll have all the barley elsewhere. Maybe cut back on some of these. And then the remaining space will just basically be as many grain farms as we can. Because this is so far from where this is, I will have additional work camps just down here, just to keep all that nice and simple. I'm just going to delete that roadblock there just to make it look nicer. So we'll have basically as many farms as we can in all of this space. It's going to look quite nice, I hope. Let's just see. And there's also space for more farms in this space here, so that's another 3 farms that we can get. Let's just see, 1, 2, 3, 1 there. So 3 farms in that space should be a few grain farms. We'll have a couple of barley farms up here, then the remaining space will just be as many grain farms as we can. How many grain farms do we have? We have 50 at the moment. We're going to have a lot by later in the year. We've got the money coming in. And over here we're just going to have a few additional grain farms and mostly lettuce, just as much as we can get down. We're going to have to get the population up though before we can consider that. I've also gone ahead and put down schools in these places just to get the culture starting to go up, just to get some of the papyrus used as well. Selling pottery as well is also going to help. Let's see, 1100. Next trade boat will come through and buy up the remaining quota. You can see here I've also got a space for a couple of weaponsmiths, maybe another woodcutter or two, but given that these are all nicely full, I don't think that's a problem. Given that we only need them for chariots and monument construction, I think we're going to be okay. Anyway, here's that attack. Let's defeat them. Okay, so this battle went quite well. Just trying to get these guys dead, and there we go, so we defeated them. That took a while, and a lot of micro almost lost a few, and what's this? Alert your soldiers, for the Egyptian army is engaged in combat in the distant city of Kadesh, again, and requires you to dispatch reinforcements to send troops in 9 months. Let's find out more about that right now. Another small force, we can actually take that with 3 of these. Let's just send them off, like so. Maybe we'll just teleport because they are not connected to the main landmass. Let's see. Let's just send them all off for repair. We've got 10,000 out of nowhere. I think we've just been selling a lot. Let's just find out. 1,500. Yeah, mostly selling off everything. So we're making quite a nice profit. We just need to expand our military a bit more. We can just put down a charioteer company there. I'm not sure if I'll put another one here. I'll have 4 here and probably 2 over here or something. Problem is if I put one there, it's going to be difficult to get to this landmass because of the floodplain being only... I mean, the only entrance is there or over there, which is quite far. It just means I might need to connect over here as well. But I'll think about all that and I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Oh, would you look at that? Our troops are back from the war at Kadesh, and they did whatever they had to do. We are starting to have some employment issues, so I'm starting to put down all the various things to start evolving these guys up into high level housing. We do need beer, which is going to be sorted over here quite nicely. Just a roadblock there. I'm also going to put down... Oh, let's do a double roadblock. We are going to put down a few more work camps, I think. So let's just do 1, 2, 3. Not sure what was going to be in there. That's is it 3,000 people. Or Seth Shrine, that's what it was. So we're getting all the gods much more happier now by giving them shrines. We're going to start putting down farms. A bit late in the season, but don't care. They will be covered by the guy wandering down this way. If not, I'll just put in an extra one, so it's not a problem. Here is where we're going to have all of our beer brewing basically happening. Beer brewing, flax making, and all that. Well, flax weaving, rather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need a good flood to try and rejuvenate this. What's the next flood going to be? Good. So it should cover most of this, which will be fine. 1, 2, 3. Let's just do that. So, yeah, at this point we're just sort of fighting off distant battles in various locations and start to build up a military. I've also put down a fort over here. We're going to have 2 forts here and 4 forts in the centre island, which will be enough. And for monument placement, we're going to have the mausoleum here and the medium one down there. And what's this? A new trade route to Kadesh has become available. Kadesh, an Egyptian city, is under attack again and needs your help in 7 months. A large force will attack in 6 months. I'm not too sure if I have the forces to defeat a large force. Because normally how I work it out is that 2 forts are enough for a small force, 4 is enough for a medium force, an average force rather, and all 6 are required for a large force. Now, given that these are chariots, we may be able to get away with just 5, but I'm not too sure. We may lose Kadesh for a little bit to a large force. Well, I'll think about that and I'll send the troops off when I'm ready to, if I can get them in time. And I'll come back in if we succeed or fail. I think we're starting to get into a bit of a looping event here. The Kadesh trade route has apparently opened even though we didn't do anything. The event happened in the background. And we need to send off more money there. Let's just go ahead and send that money to Kadesh. Basically what happens is that these requests are sort of in a loop. I haven't actually sent off any troops at all. I'm not too sure if I will. I might just ignore that request and come back to it later. Because it will ask for troops again. Anyway, we're starting to provide pottery to one of our blocks, which is going to be good. Start to get more people. We are short quite a number of employees and we're going to need a heck of a lot more people in the city before we can go any further. 16, 16, 16. I mean, 4 full forts might be enough. I'm not too sure. Anyway, here we are importing sandstone from Abu because they're the only seller. We can't boost that trade quantity anyway, which is very unfortunate. We'll also work on evolving this block as well. Just go on, buy pottery, go ahead. There's going to be enough of it here. We're going to have half getting here and just leave the rest up here. I'm also going to move some of the clay pits over to this side when we get the opportunity to do so. In fact, let's just do it now. Yes, soon lose to its enemies. I'm not sure. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about it for a little minute and I'm going to come back in if we succeed or fail at this request. Well, that's good luck. Our troops capably dispatched the fort of Kadesh, and apparently Kadesh has got enough copper now that we can get more from there, even though we don't need it. How many did we lose? We only lost, what was that? 4 in the full forts and 1 in the smaller amount, which is okay. I'm not sure where he came from, but never mind. So we can apparently now import like 8,000 copper. I don't think we really need that, to be honest, because we're not building infantrymen. So we can get shit tons of copper for no reason, effectively. So we kept that trade open. Now we just need to try and get money because we are short on money and we're not really selling very much. Selling enough of pottery, papyrus, which is okay. I am starting to populate this a little bit here so we can start to move some of these clay pits over to this side have all the clay production here, and then we can have all pottery here, which will look a lot nicer. I might even move these houses just to get some more space. I'm not too sure what I'll do there. So they succeeded at Kadesh, and I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Maybe more requests, I don't know. Okay, more troops in battles. Elect your soldiers. The Egyptian army is engaged in combat in the distant city of Kerma this time. It requires you to dispatch reinforcements there. Send troops to their aid in 7 months. Let's have a look. A large waterborne force will attack in 6 months. We can just send off all of our warships, just like so. So start to push more ground, start to retake things down here. Now, for some reason, I'm not sure why, but in the last mission, Byblos, you will remember that we conquered Icon and Heb, but for some reason they're back to Nubian foreign cities. I'm not too sure why, but never mind. We're apparently fighting at Kerma, so we'll send off our boats, see what they do, and see if that opens up as another trade partner. We are still in debt. That's because we are trying to make money, and we are, of course, losing money from all the wages we have to pay. We're short by so many people. We just need more people to enter the city. Once we start to get barley production going, we can evolve all of this in one fair swoop straight up to common residence, and then we should be able to get more people. I may cut back on industries, or even just, you know, build another housing block over here, but I'll think about that later. For now, we just need to make money, and I'll come back in once the troops have come back from Kerma. Oh, would you look at that? Our troops have held to win the day at Kerma, and we've now conquered Kerma again, apparently. So we pushed right down into Kushite territory, conquered Kerma, supported our attack there. I don't know why they're not asking for us to send troops to Het and Icon, but never mind. But we've conquered Kerma, so we're now starting to push into Kushite territory. We've conquered up here, so we've pretty much got all of Egypt and all this area, like the briefing said, so we're doing quite well. Here we've got a bunch of common residences. We've also put in dancers just to make sure that they all have access, because we're going to go and do this devolving and re-evolving thing for not enough entertainment, but that's not going to be a problem. Here we're also going to start providing beer. We just need more workers. We're also selling a bit of beer to Ijatoy. Not a lot, but we can expand this just with a bit more there. Apparently last harvest was crap. Is what I was trying to say. Crap is what it is. Loads of these fields are quite poor in inundation, so we're going to have to try and get on Cyrus's good side. Hopefully try to boost the inundation for next year, which would be nice. I should move these all along a bit and just try to get some more farms in here. I think I can actually... If I move all of these over by a couple of tiles, we should get another farm in. So let's just actually delete that. And move all this. Just have a look. I can get flax. Yeah, I can get another one in there. So let's just actually move the road out like so. There we go. And now we have a load of flax fields. This one's irrigated, which is good. Only problem is money. I'm going to have to put down the palace soon. I'm not sure where to put it. And we're also importing sandstone. Quite a nice amount of sandstone. How much have we got? 91. And our heroes are back from that war. Let's just find out which one was damaged. I think one of them usually gets destroyed by a large force attack like that. Yeah, one of them would have been destroyed and rebuilt there. Yeah, that's why they're standing in front of it. Okay, so our troops have succeeded. There's going to just be more distant battles. I'm not going to show any more of them. There's not going to be any more invasions for a long time. I think it's time to now work on boosting the city and start to work towards our various goals here. We need more people, and the prosperity is tanking because of labour shortages. So let's set up some more housing, and I'll come back in once we've done it. Okay, it's been a while, but again, this looping event with Kadesh is happening again. A new trade route to Kadesh has become available, even though it's been available for God knows how long. And Kadesh is requiring more troops, 4 months to comply. Let's have a look. Another large force will attack in 3 months. Now, I have just put down the final fort, which is, whatever it is, here. I'll wait off maybe a couple of months and then send off everyone. Now, we are short on cash. We're not selling enough papyrus. We're not really making too much profit. I mean, we're making a bit of profit, but I mean, when we start to build things, it really sends us quite low. Now over here you can see I've got a yard set up to get lettuce, which is going to start to be grown over here. We're going to have a few farms over here growing as much lettuce as we want. In fact, what I'm going to do is delete these two and just move that like so. And we'll have one road going out like so. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And we'll also have some lettuce production down here as well. We're going to have this whole centre island is basically going to be lettuce, wherever I can put it. So we've got a couple of months to comply. How many troops have just entered that last fort there? In fact, what we're going to do is we're not going to risk it. We're just going to send everyone. Like so. They should succeed, and we should maybe end that continuous attack there at Kadesh or wherever it was. Let's just draw the road out like this. Floods are not really that great. These edge farms right here, even though the flood's covering them, it's not really new, freshening up the excuse me. It's not really freshening up these farms. I mean, these are still 59%, 47. Yeah. What we're also going to do is we're going to put a yard here set to accept linen. We're going to turn on flax production right now. We're not making straw yet. That's papyrus makers. Let's put down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to have to move this down 1 tile. Move this like so. And we're going to have 8 of these. Now, I think we might be able to cut back on a couple of breweries, but that'll be fine. We'll just cut back on those 2. I will replace them later if needed. So let's put down that and a physician. There we go. So we'll start to produce some linen and we'll start to work on exports. Now we can sell 2,500 of that, so that'll give us some more money because we're just not able to make any more money. I mean, we're quite a bit into this scenario. What is this? 13 years and we still have problems with money, which is not too good. Meanwhile, we have got some common residences. Some of them are possibly going to run out of beer. There we go, back into debt again. That's not too good. And we have sold out every bit of papyrus to Kadesh. Abu is about to buy up the last of it. So yeah, we're going to just keep on going and we're going to come back in if anything of interest happens. At this point, it's just pure city building and trying to make some money. Another troop request. The forest city of Kerma has been subjugated by our troops. Now Kerma, an Egyptian city, is under attack and needs your help. More troop requests. We've actually about to send off an entire army. An average force will attack in 9 months, but we could just send off all of our ships. It looks as if our land forces are on the way back. Let's have a look. Yeah, we lost only 4 across these forts, none in the newly created forts. So we're doing well. We're just having to do just continuous distant battles. And yeah, we're going to try and expand our lettuce production here. So, yeah, at this point it's just continual troop requests. After this part, I'm not going to show any more of them because they're just going to keep on repeating every so often. I'm also going to stockpile some chariots just to save them up. So yeah, we're just going to keep on going. I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. At this point, it's just sort of constant troop requests and there's nothing really of interest to show now. Oh, would you look at that? Because your troops capably dispatched the foe at Kerma, we can now trade with them. Let's just have a look at that. You can see I'm also planning out on this left-hand island another housing block. We'll have 2 of these right next to each other. It'll look quite nice. So let's have a look at Kerma. They sell ebony, which is a second type of luxury goods. So we have 3 luxury goods because we can import gems to make jewellery, and then we can import from 2 trade partners. Very expensive water trade route, but they do buy linen, and I think we'll get into that. We are starting to sell linen, I think. We're also selling a bit of beer to Idjatoy, and I think they've just bought up the maximum. They have. Kadesh has only bought 1,500 linen. That's only because we're not producing very much, but we do need workers. We're short a lot of people. The next flood's going to be completely... I mean, these floods are really bad. I need to get on Osiris's good side, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete a line of trees. I'm not really concerned about deleting trees at this point because... I mean, we can... There's so many trees on this map that it doesn't matter. We just cut down a few. I mean, there's trees... There's a few trees up there. There's trees on this centre island. And there's trees elsewhere. So it's really not a concern that I'm cutting back on some trees. But I'll go and put out the houses here on this other block that we're setting up. Let's just do it right. Just put a line of them. Just fill out the block. And we will feed them 2 types and get up to fancy residences as well here. I'm not going to bother about manners, quite apart from the fact it's not required for prosperity. This mission just takes too long to consider manners. By the time that we get manners up, we would have major labour shortages, so we're not going to do that. Let's just check the gods. I think we can do an Osiris and Seth temple here. Let's do Ptah, just to keep them all balanced. They're not going to be connected, so this is just an immigrants thing. These are all going to be fed their own food types, get their own barley and flax, and all their various things. So we're not going to connect these sides together, we're just going to keep them nice and separate. Heroes are back. I think one of them one of them has been weakened, so he's going to go and get himself repaired, which is going to be good. None of us got some lettuce here. We're actually going to start to feed a second type, I think. We'll start to provide linen later once we've got more money, because I mean, look at that. We're nearly at debt again, which is not too good. Let's just put down firehouse, architect's post, ship aground, I don't care about that. Police station and an apothecary. We'll just put them down, get that all nice and stable. Now that we've got the houses up to this level, we can actually get rid of the police station and replace them with a dentist. Like so. Now let's just keep an eye on... Oh, that's even better. Got a festival and Osiris is going to boost the flood. Next, the flood was going to fail. We'll check that later. It's going to be poor now. It might be mediocre, but I'll keep holding festivals to Osiris in the hope that he will improve things. That festival's going to send us into debt. That's not a problem. I'm going to keep an eye on the fire risk. I do know that the school likes to burn down from sometimes, and because of the fact they've only got one firehouse, because we have an apothecary, this might burn down, but I'm not concerned about that. Meanwhile, over here, we are still stockpiling sandstone. I'm just putting down a yard each time one has become full, and just expand it. How much sandstone do we have? 150. We still need another 200, another 106. No, we need another 90 blocks. So we've still got a ways to go, but I think we should be able to get there. We're just going to start making money, and I think we're going to have to do that by putting down a palace when we've got money, of course. Because we're paying off, we're getting a lot of money, well, we're not getting a lot of money out of taxes, which we need. So yeah, we're just going to keep on going, start to get the next block up, and I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Okay, so in the interest of city planning, I've gone ahead and marked out the area where, and yes, we need employees. I've gone ahead and marked out where I want the mausoleum to be, which is going to be right here. And right next to it, we're going to have the medium pyramid. Now, you can put these down without clearing trees, they'll just get cleared automatically. So this is going to look quite nice, secluded in the forests of Rowarty, of the Delta. We've had some pretty appalling floods. We're going to get an excellent flood, which might start to rejuvenate some of these farms here. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in 2 flax fields there, and 1 extra barley field right there, because we're not producing enough from these farms. I might actually just expand over this bit as well. Let's just put in more flax there. So we're going to start to really ramp up flax production. I don't know if we've got enough work camps to support this. We are short a bit, but that's okay. In fact, over here what we can do is work on setting up our farms. So let's just see about doing that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 there. Let's just do that. We can have a bit of a farming area. And what I'm going to have is I'm going to have some farms connected down here. We're going to have double harvest, that's perfect. And some farms are going to go down here because the amount of time it takes to get from, say, here all the way down here means they will just drown and then I'll lose stuff for no reason. But we do need to work on evolving our housing. Random development there. Let's get you taking lettuce, since there's going to be enough food types around. Let's see, our farms are all doing quite nicely now, which is going to be good. So yeah, we're going to work on building the pyramid. We need 24,000 bricks and a lot of limestone, but I think we've got the funds now to support this. Let's just put down another storage yard right here. And what I'll do is I'll probably have limestone stockpiling along the sides here. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it, but for now I think it'll be fine. Let's just set a yard to accept limestone right there and start to work on importing that. Because apart from limestone and sandstone, we don't actually need to import anything, which is going to be great. What am I importing? That is granite, we don't need to import that. It's limestone. Okay, so I think we're going to start getting on well. Now we've got the money, we're going to have taxes starting to flow in these blocks. And I'm going to work on evolving this. You've seen me build pyramids plenty of times, you know how these are built. We built some in Saudi. They just need bricks and limestone and we'll be fine. The small pyramid I'll just put somewhere random. I'm not sure if I'll just put it down here. I mean, it would look great, but I think we're maybe over-capitalizing this area. But I'll think about it, and I'll come back in if I have anything of interest to show you. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to show any more of these distant battles, but we might as well. There's nothing else happening in the city, so another distant battle at Kerma. Let's just check what kind of force that is. Another average waterborne force. We could just set off all our warships again. Now, over here, I've deleted the recruiter that was there. And moved over here just so I could get this tower staffed. I hope they'll staff the tower. I really hope you will. Now, what are you trying to sort out? Are you trying to do something with something else? Now, I wonder if I've run into a bit of a bug here. I'm hoping that this tower will get staffed, but I think maybe it's a bit close. Let's just put that there. I've also set up some grain farms, which we're going to use for food types. Right, let's just delete this connecting road. I'm going to move this up a bit. Let's just delete that. Like so. Actually, no. Let's... yeah, we're getting deaths here because this guy is not doing this for some reason. Please sort out the tower. Right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to delete that recruit. I'm going to put it back. And I'm actually going to have to put a little bit of connection here. Now, of course, I'm not going to actually get things across here, but I am going to have to set up some connection over here, which is going to be very annoying. It only needs to be a road. I don't need an actual. I don't actually remember. Do you need a road connection? I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll try and get a tower set up because this guy, these hippos are going to cause so many problems. Let's just put down a granary and get grain, and we might as well just feed them all. We've got loads of money, but suddenly got up to 20,000. That's mostly from taxes, I think. Yeah. Taxes are helping to increase our exports, which is going to be good. Meanwhile, these guys are going on quite nicely, but also importing a lot more limestone. And I think what we'll do is we'll put down a couple of carpenters' guilds. I should just put one right there. Just delete tree there. We'll put down 2 of these. And then a load of bricklayers and stonemasons. Now, I'm going to have to find a location to produce bricks, which I haven't thought of yet, which is a very bad idea, but... I really want this tower to work, but I don't think it will, which is weird. Anyway, I'll think about that. I'll come back in a bit later if there's anything of interest to show you. Okay, so we're starting to get on with the city now. We have the required sandstone. It's only taken for bloody ever, but we now have all the sandstone we need. We're going to actually just go ahead and put it down right now. Oh, there's people in the way, damn it. Let's get these guys out of the way. Really? Why can't I build that? It's a clear space. Do I have to destroy the trees or something? Yeah, let's just turn this again. The other way, rather. Is it because of the people? No, I think I just need to just destroy these trees. Why is there a fire? Why has that burnt down? Well, I'm gonna... it's probably because they are wandering away down here, which is not very useful. Let's just put down a couple of extra firehouses. I did manage to get these towers working again just by a temporary connection. It did stuff over a load of things for a while, but that's okay. We're also starting to set out the 4th and final housing block, which has also given us plenty of people, which is exactly what we want to see. Let's just put down these. All these buildings we're going to need. There. We've got the money, it's no longer a problem anyway. Let's just go ahead and destroy a lot of this forest. Much as it pains me to do this, but we will do it. Please get out of the way, you people. There we go, okay. And this needs another 256 sandstone, so we're going to just import that. And then work on this thing here. But of course, putting that down means I'm probably going to try and do both at once. I think we could probably expand on some of our production capabilities here. I mean, we've got the space to put more down here, but it's not a concern right now. What I'm more concerned about is trying to make bricks. So let's just put down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'll add in 1 or 2 more at the end if needed. And once the 2 pyramids are done, I'll just convert this into more linen and beer production. So yeah, also one thing to note is once we sent off the troops off to Kermit, the price of luxury goods went down by like 46. So it's not even worth an export. You import gems for 120 and you sell them for less than what you import the gems for. But at least importing luxury goods is not too much. We don't really need them, it's just for burial provisions, so I can import that whenever. We'll just put down more work camps. There. Okay, so at this point I'm just sort of growing the city, trying to meet the 7,000 target, keep it stable. I mean, look at the amount of employees we're short. And that's just going to keep on going up as we put down more industries. But for now, we're just going to keep on going and I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Okay, a different location for an Egyptian battle. Byblos needs troops. That was our previous city. Average waterborne force, we'll just send them off. Now, you can see I put down a hell of a lot of grain farms. We need more grain than what we're getting. Mainly because we need it for straw. Now, I am stockpiling bricks. This isn't working because of the fact that we do need that stuff. Are we actually using sandstone? Apparently we're using sandstone, which is going to help. So we can just keep that going, we'll be fine. Let's just... Every time there's like one that's only got like 3 in it, we'll just get rid of some of it. There. Let's just delete some of these and start to consolidate the yards a little bit. Let's just bring some of them over here. It'd be so nice if we could just get stone from multiple places rather than just one place. There. Let's get rid of these 2. Just set these back to accepting again. There. Let's move all the sandstone over into 1 or 2 yards and we should be fine. It'll also get them using it, really. Let's just set this back to accept again. There we go. Let's just make 1 yard also a getter and then we can just get rid of these 2. There we go. Heroes return, good. And because we saved the troops at helped the troops at Byblos, we've got copper. Now, I am actually going to accept that gift. The reason being is that I have mentioned this before, there is a very late request for weapons. We might fulfill it because we've been spending so long on this map. And we will make a couple of weapons just to keep on stockpile, really. Not for anything else. Let's just put down 2 of those and that'll be fine. How many workers are we short by? Not too many because we are evolving these houses, which is going to be good. Let's just put down these things. There. There we go. Okay, so we'll start to evolve these houses up. We'll be fine, I think. I do want to get these houses evolved. I think we will now just evolve these guys with linen and push them up to fancy residence. Looks as if there's a bit of a food shortage here, but that's okay. So yeah, we're now just going to work on the monuments and I will come back in if anything of importance happens. At this point there really isn't, apart from monument building. Okay, here's a bit of an interesting request. Mycenae wants 600 grain. Now, I wonder if this is going to open a trade route with Mycenae. They've been closed this whole time. We'll see. Anyway, I am setting up the little... I'm not going to set up a massive area. I'm just going to set up enough industry here just that can support these 2. If needed, I'll expand it. Pardon me. But for now, this is fine. So let's just set this to pottery. And what I'm going to do is basically have... Oops. I'm going to have all the yards along here excepting the goods we need. So this is going to be beer, papyrus. Where is it there? That can be linen. And then 2 food types at the end there. There we go. So we're going to start getting these things, which is going to be good. I'm not going to worry about the beer and all that just yet. I will knock out probably a few farms. Because, I mean, there's enough space here I could just knock out a couple of farms. Just delete that road tile there and have a bit that goes up. 1, 2, 3. There. 1, 2, 3. Now, given the far distance these guys are going to have to walk, I am probably going to have to put down a couple of work camps on this side just to pardon me, just to support these distant forests, because these guys won't reach there. So for now, we're just going to start to evolve our city and get. I mean, we're just putting down all these things uses up so many workers, but I'll be glad when this mausoleum's done, because then I can ditch all of this. But for now, we're just going to keep on going. I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. And the mausoleum is almost done. It's just getting 2 more loads of sandstone from over here. There's a bit in there at least to handle the next requirement. This is taking a while to build because we tried to sort of split between these two, which is not very useful. So we just need one more block, one more delivery man of sandstone from somewhere, and we should be fine. At this point, the city is actually quite stable. We have the population. We are going to evolve this block just a bit more once it gets stable with food. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to get 2 types very well. What's in here? Linen. We haven't started making linen yet. That's why the flax is sort of just stockpiling over here. But we can just put down 1, 2. Just clear that. There we go. Start making some linen. We can start using it in mortuaries. Some of these houses seem to be okay. Yeah, some of them are not getting 2 types for whatever reason, but never mind. So mausoleum's almost done. It's just waiting for another 4 sandstone from wherever. Here it is. So we can just follow it across the boat. And at one time, one of the tiles got placed for whatever reason. So then I'm going to go and clear out all the base, basically, and make it look just great. Now, stop piling bricks, because we are needing them, and 2 pardon me, 2 full yards will finish off this, which will be enough. There we go, 1 mausoleum down. We don't need to import any more sandstone. So we'll just turn that off. Just check unemployment. It's getting to a good level now. So we can just clear off all of this and get rid of that dock. We don't need that anymore. You can just vanish. So they're only going to go to 1 dock, buy some papyrus, and then we'll be fine. How's lettuce doing over here? Bit low. We'll actually have to put down some more farms, which I'll do right now, actually. Don't think we're going to need too many more farms, actually, for lettuce. We'll just put down that, and that should be more than enough. We don't actually need to extend onto this floodplain at all. We've got more than enough grains. Excuse me. More enough grain if we can get a better flood. Let's hold 1 to Osiris and see if he'll help. It'll be a bit late for now, anyway. So yeah, we've got 1 monument down. We just need to fill up on the bricks and build the remaining 2 pyramids, and then we will win this mission. Eventually. Oh, look at this as a request. To satisfy citizens' needs, the city of Mycenae requests that you send 19 demons in 6 months. What? 19? I mean, this is... How long have we been playing this fish? I think it must be 35, 40 years? Yeah, 35 years. Well, 36 or so. And by this point, I think you would probably have 19 demons. My theory on that is it was supposed to be something else and didn't change the value. But let's just go ahead and give them 19 demons. Remember, that was a city that was supposed to be really exotic and has all these items we've never ever seen before. Right? Anyway, we have like 193,000, mostly just from taxes. We're not really exporting very much at all. It really is all taxes, because we don't import that much. We're only importing basically a little bit of limestone, which is fine. This just needs another yard of limestone, and what I'm doing is I'm just going to start moving some of these guilds over here, because I'm going to build the last small pyramid just here by the fort. So we'll just put that down. It just needs a bit of bricks and a bit of limestone. That's not a problem at all. We are short on workers, but that's okay. We can evolve some of this housing as well. We can just give them linen as well. Looks as if we're short on lettuce, finally. We're having some sort of dodgy floods. Sometimes they're perfect, then the next one is usually like terrible, but we seem to be doing okay now. I might cut back on some of our production here. We don't need this much linen, and we don't need that much beer. We certainly don't need that much pottery, because these are keeping themselves stable anyway. So I will cut back on a couple of flax fields and just replace them with lettuce farms and the like. So let's just speed up time and see whether 19 demons will actually open a trade route. And it does. Because you sent 19 demons to Mycenae as they requested, we can now trade with them. Let's have a look. we can import pottery, which we don't need to do because we can produce that, and they sell wine, which is worthless because we already have 3 luxury good types. We can import gems, ivory, and ebony. So we wait until 1245 BC to get something we don't need, and it costs like 1100. You know, I'm not even going to bother opening that trade route. It's a waste of time because they sell us things we don't need. We're not going to be using luxury goods in the city. We already have 2 types, so pretty worthless. And for the record, I haven't even opened up the trade route to Kerma. Even though I could sell linen, we're just not going to do that anymore. We're not really selling linen anymore, it's just papyrus. Since we can produce more than enough and it's fine. Meanwhile, across the city, I'm now working on culture just where I can. We're at 45, we will need to put down a senate house somewhere. Kingdom rating can go up by paying off that. So another 2 boosts in that will be fine. We're more than meet our population target. I might put down another little housing block here, but we'll see. So just one more monument to go, and we'll be finishing this mission very soon, I think. I'll come back in if anything of interest happens, of course. And here we go, we're about to clear out the base of this pyramid. I know it says that, I'm not too sure why it's saying that, but here we go, we're about to clear out the thing around it. Brick pyramid complete, good. So there's the medium one, we just need to build the small one, which is going on quite nicely over here. Meanwhile, what I'm going to do is just delete these things here because they are in the way and they're wasting workers. I'm going to move all of it over here. I know that's quite cleared out some of this and caused a problem, but that's okay. Also, because the Mycenae opened up, luxury goods are now like 17 demons more cheaper. So now they're like 247 to import and pretty much a loss to export. Never mind. We are short a lot of workers. Seth is getting a little displeased, but we can sort that. But basically shrine spam everywhere we can put these things. You know, there you go, there's more shrines. At this point, I'm just sort of ticking up culture as best as I can. We need a senate house now, which is okay. Just put them there. Prosperity is at 75, which is good. Let's just check out how many shrines we've got. 42. Let's just see if we can find more places to put these things. 45, I think that'll be. And then we just need a few more in unlikely locations just to tick up the culture. We could just put a line of them behind these buildings here, just make it look quite nice. 43, 44, 45. There we go. So you should now all be happy. We're playing on quite a while here, but we just need the monument to complete. Once the monument is complete, we will be able to win the mission, basically. One more gift and we'll be fine. In fact, what I can do is just import 400 luxury goods somewhere in the city. In fact, we can just do that right here. So let's just find someone that sells 400 luxury goods and import 400. We don't need them for any other use in the city, so we'll just stockpile. I think it's ivory we're importing, but that's okay. There we go, 400, so that's all that done. So now all we have to do is build this final pyramid, and I'll come back in once we've done it. Well, this is a bit of an out-of-the-blue request. To satisfy citizens' needs, the City of Kadesh requests you send 6 weapons in 9 months. Now, I have mentioned before that you don't need copper, but luckily several requests ago, long before that Mycenae joke request came up. Remember when Byblos asked for troops? They gave us some copper. Now, so we do actually have those weapons. We've actually been stockpiling for a while. Ijatoy at one point also gave us a bunch of copper. I don't know when. Let's just try and find it. That was Byblos. That's still Byblos. Yeah, just here. I sent some baskets of grain to Ijatoy and they gave me a whole load of copper from somewhere. Anyway, the limestone's all gone into this mine, so we are now just starting to try and keep the city stable, because at this point it's collapsing in on itself because there's not enough, and some of the tiles disappeared. Well, I really hate that bug, it's so annoying. Yeah, we are starting to run into problems of aging, because look at all these people tipping over 50, and that's just simply because we've been playing for so long. We started in, what was it, 1279 BC, we've been here for basically 40 years. Which is actually a very long time to be playing a mission, but of course it takes that long just to build these stupid monuments. I mean, it took 20 years just to do this, which wasted a load of time, but of course time was spent keeping the city stable and trying to get out of debt. Of course, that's now happened, but we're not going to waste time with anything else. Let's just send one more gift. There we go. We're at the kingdom rating. We've got everything met. We just need to keep the city stable so we can meet the monument goals. So let's just speed up. Also, just earlier, not that long ago, yeah, earlier this year, no, that was not that. Let's see. Yeah, a couple of years ago, Abu asked for some wood, which there was, and they gave us like a bunch of luxury goods, which we don't need. Let's just send those weapons off before we forget. I don't think it actually gives you anything for that. I don't remember. But anyway, you got your weapons. There's the brick pyramid complete. This is the marble over our city. So 2 monuments on the centre supporting pretty much 2 icy blocks on our entire industrial sector with some forces and all that. Here on the left, another little bit of housing supporting a couple of libraries, which are disconnected, by the way. I ended up just connecting the whole city to the everything because we were running into food shortages over here. Not enough grain, not enough lettuce, and that was probably caused by bad flood years. Also running out of reeds. Apparently, I think you're going all over the place to get reeds, but that's okay. There's enough stockpile. So yeah, we've done Rowarty. That is going to conclude the military pathway. Let's just set off these. Pardon me. Let's set off these 1200 pottery, which we produced, 1200 beer, which we produced, 800 linen. The only thing you have to import is basically some luxury goods. Let's send that off. In fact, let me just, before we do, let's just take a final save. Let's just look at the monuments. Well, 2 of them anyway. There we go. Victory. We've done Rowarty. We've completed the military pathway of Pharaoh. And let us proceed.
All hail the mighty Pharaoh. Your dynasty has no peer, and Egyptians from now until the end of time will speak your name with the greatest reverence.
We will indeed speak our name for until the end of time, whatever it was. Culture 65, quite difficult to reach that because the population started to get really high. Like, 87 was quite high. But that's okay. We got the monuments done. Fought off through some of those sea people attacks quite nicely. I think if we continued, there would have been more attacks, more troop requests, and just sort of silly requests. Like, I think there's a request well off past the time when you would have won the mission, asking for meat. But we're not going to worry about that. Completed in 515 months is not too bad, and on hard mode. So yeah. Now, if you want to see Baki and Hetep's new strip, click on the cards on the screen because they will take you to Baki on the left and Hetep on the right. But I'd rather recommend you go to Baki first before Hetep. But there's going to be a little mini movie after this, and I'm going to play the mini movie twice on both this one and on Hetep, just because I want to conclude them as if people are watching the cards in order. So let us watch the final cutscene to conclude the military pathway of Pharaoh.
Through 5 epochs, through countless trials and numberless lifetimes, Egypt has endured. Now, none challenge our authority. Your family's story is the story of Egypt. Thousands worship you as a god. And the dynasty you have forged shall never be forgotten.